Billie Eilish right now is probably one of the most recognized and noticed pop icons of the modern day. You probably have heard of her in some form or another, and she is wildly popular, wildly famous. Again, one of the biggest pop stars on the planet right now, and she has come under critical fire right now for her hypocrisy when it comes to capitalism and her own standards. Okay, people are labeling her as a hypocrite for being an artist who doesn't practice what they preach. Okay, this is a individual or a person who's been very outspoken about being anti-capitalist and billionaires, but is seemingly following a lot of capitalist practices herself, and her fans, or we don't really know if they're necessarily her fans, but there are a lot of people in the space who are criticizing her for some of her recent actions. And I'm going to tell you what has sparked this huge conversation that is surrounding her right now. So people calling Billie Eilish a hypocrite for being, maybe not actually as anti-capitalist as she said, has kind of gone around for a while, but it's really heating up today because of this post right here, and we're going to use her Twitter to kind of bring it up. The Uno Canvas Billie Eilish deck is restocked, available for pre-order now on Billie Eilish, blah 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 blah, and this is it. This is what she is promoting. She is promoting an Uno variant, right? An Uno variant that is Billie Eilish themed, which looks, hey, I'm not gonna lie, it looks cool. It's a cool product. I'm a fan of a bit of Uno if it's ever around. It is a pretty good product and has pretty good quality. But people are starting to raise some questions like, if you're someone who preaches anti-capitalist values, how dare you partner with $1 billion company to make a product? Is this a fair and reasonable statement to say? I think it's something to be had, right? Is it hypocritical for an artist to call out billionaires for not giving enough of their money away to resources and people that need it, while simultaneously profiting from the capitalist systems themselves for them to make money? And I think this is a very nuanced conversation. I think there is a level of hypocrisy to some degree, because we're making money off of capitalist work, but also I feel this is a more conversation about levels of things. I think the levels and extent of which things happen matter. Okay, I think we have to remember the wealth of a billionaire is so much more greater than someone who is even a multi-millionaire. Okay, in order to become the level of wealth to be a billionaire, the likelihood that you've had to exploit a lot of real people for a long period of time is quite high, whereas someone who's a multi-millionaire isn't necessarily someone who is massively exploiting people for their own gain. And I think there's a vast difference between those things. And personally, I think Billie is okay to call out billionaires who have garnered their wealth by exploiting a lot of people, versus her selling products in the capitalist world that we live. Again, of course, there's a level of hypocrisy, but I think we have to consider the degrees of which these are going. But let's take a look at some of the quotes real quick, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, our anti-capitalist queen. But I heard paper kill trees of capitalism is bad. It gets to a point. I hate capitalism. Proceeds to sell her own version of Uno, LMAO. Everyone hates capitalism until it benefits them. It's fuck capitalism unless it benefits me. If performative activism was a person. Capitalism is apparently only fine if the money is going to Billie's wallet. For an anti-capitalist, this sure does a lot of capitalism. FYI, pre-ordering is anti-capitalist. Is this not capitalism? How are you anti-capitalism and then drop a version of Uno that has your name on it? And I think this is exactly getting across the point at which I'm saying right now. People will see someone like Billie to sell any kind of product or collaborate with any kind of business and will immediately label her as an anti-capitalist. And I think we need to reframe the situation of, you could be someone who is against very extreme capitalist systems, but also just not be an entire anti-capitalist, okay? I think there is a big difference that I don't think, it's getting to a point where a lot of people if she makes any product ever, she's anti-capitalist and she's a hypocrite and we should hate on her. How dare she? She said billionaires should give up their money while she's making money off products herself. How dare she? But I think this is a very, very unfair conversation, and we're going to get a little bit more into why. But here is what she said exactly. Okay, this is exactly what she said.
Love you all, but there's a few people in here that have a lot more money than me. And if you're a billionaire, why are you a billionaire?
Why are you a billionaire?
No hate,
right?
But yeah, give your money away, shorties. Love you.
Right, that's kind of what she said. She was pointing out the capitalist system by billionaires live by. And I think it's important to take her words into consideration very carefully here, okay? She said, why are you a billionaire, okay? And I think that kind of digs deeper into this whole situation. Again, like I said earlier, to be the level of wealth, to be a billionaire. We're not talking multi-millionaire. We're talking billionaire, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. You do not get to that point of wealth without having to exploit a lot of people to get there. A lot of people to get there, okay? And I don't think it's fair to compare that level of capitalism, the sort of capitalism that hurts people at its core, right? There's a lot of people who get hurt at its core for that kind of like capitalism. Comparing that to someone who is essentially being a business owner, right? She is an artist, she's a recording artist, essentially her own business person who is doing some collaborations and selling products, but she's not making hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars. She is not anywhere close to being a billionaire, okay? She's not anywhere close. So her inherently partaking in the capitalist society that we do, I don't think is a bad thing. She never said that I hate capitalists. If she did, then maybe I can be proven wrong. I think it's okay to hate capitalism, but also have to partake in the system that we live in. Again, you can argue she can choose not to. But I think she's more directly talking about the billionaires and how they get their money, which is a very different form of the extent of the use of capitalism than anybody else. Okay, here's another thing. If you have money, it would be great to use it for good things and maybe give it to some people that need it. Love you all, but there's a few people in here that have a lot more money than me. If you're a billionaire, why are you a billionaire? No hate, but give your money away, shorties. Billie is donating $11.5 million from her tour proceeds to various organizations, okay? And she's even getting some backlash for this gesture, okay? A lot of people saying, well, she clearly would mark up the ticket somewhat, so people would think that she's donating her own money to these organizations, but instead, she's just like skimming it off and donating it to the tour money rather than her own money. This isn't her own money that's getting donated, it's just a part of the tour money. And you can think however you want about the situation. I don't particularly care. I think for me personally, the best use case of money like this would actually be to give it back to the immediate people like around you, because I think that kind of boosts like it boosts like an economy of things that like matter to you, like directly and like instantaneously, kind of like how Taylor Swift donated or gave bonuses to a lot of her like tour staff along her entire like Eras tour. I think genuinely, if we're giving away like money or donating it to a good cause, putting it to places that really matter to you, I think is the best thing to do. It shows your appreciation for the people who helped you to make the money, right? If we're talking about billionaires are a problem because how they exploit people to make their money, then surely giving back to the people that helped you get the money in the first place is actually the more anti-capitalist thing to do. So if we're going if we're purity testing here, and I had a morals hat on, and I was like, oh, Billy, what's the best way for you to dish out the money? It would probably be to give more bonuses to the people like around you that helped you make the money in the first place. Like that is the best form of anti-capitalist, right? I think we could all probably agree on that one. but here we go. Calls out billionaires and proceeds to work with billionaire. Billie Eilish is the most performative artist ever. Okay, I think trying to accuse someone of being a performative artist is really just going to come up to everyone else's perception. I can't tell you what morals to have. I can't tell you to purity test another individual or being. So I'm not gonna sit here and do that. However you feel is however you feel. I'm just kind of giving my take on this whole situation. And of course, this is coming along because Billie Eilish is releasing a 3D version of her tour that you are going to be able to experience in cinemas, and she teamed up with James Cameron to do this. Okay, James Cameron, the legend behind the likes of Avatar, I know there's a movie out right now, was in Manchester, I believe, with her to record part of her to record her tour, essentially, and they're gonna release it in 3D, and now people are using this as a way of accusing her of being a huge hypocrite. You hate billionaires, yet you will work with them? How dare you? How dare you? And again, I think this all comes down to how you make your billions. Has James Cameron made his billions and upon billions from exploiting a lot of people? Or has he made his billions upon billions from exploiting other people? Or has he done it by producing and creating creative works that other people have willingly chosen to consume? Okay, I think that, who knows, right? Like, again, this is up to you. I'm not here to like preach about capitalism and good capitalism versus bad capitalism, who's a good billionaire and who is a bad billionaire. But I think, you know, people can have this view of, they find us hypocritical. You call out the billionaires, yet you're not going to call out how you're gonna work with them too. But I feel like it's two different things. You could call out a billionaire and also work with them at the same time. Like, I don't think it means that she has to never associate them with them in her life, but I think what matters is her own actions, right? At the end of the day, her actions matter more than the people that she's associated with. Like, you don't judge people by their friend. Well, I don't like to judge people by who they like hang out with, like to a huge extent. Okay, to a massive extent, like to somewhat, but not to a huge extent. But it feels like this is more of a creative project than anything else. Okay, I don't see this as being a work that is trying to exploit other people, or whatever it may be. This just seems to be a creative project and endeavor they are willing to go under. Okay, and now we have some more, you know, evidence of someone, of Billie Eilish accusing Elon Musk of being a effing pathetic pussy bastard coward, or I guess bitch coward. I'd say bastard, but here we go. Billie Eilish calls out Elon Musk for not using his wealth to aid humanity and resolve global issues. Fucking pathetic pussy bitch coward. Okay, and she posted this like story of like, Musk could choose to spend 40 billion every year to end world hunger by 2030, or provide universal safe clean water for 140 billion for the planet for the next 7 years, save endangered species, to save all blah 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 species. Musk could pay 1 to 2 billion annually to bring all of them down to an endangered status, rebuild Gaza. At just 53.2 billion, Musk could rebuild Gaza and the occupied West Bank, according to the EU, although the UN predicts this could be upwards of 70 billion for Gaza alone. But essentially, he could do all of this, and because he doesn't, she is calling him a pathetic pussy bitch coward. And I understand, okay? I understand she doesn't like Elon Musk, she doesn't like what he stands for, and what he's doing with his money. And I can get it. I can understand. It can be very frustrating to see people with vast amounts of wealth not use it for causes that can immediately and directly help people. I mean, a lot of people think Elon Musk is doing that by having like electric cars, although are they really that beneficial for the planet? That's a whole nother story as it is. Trying to get people to Mars, again, is that beneficial for right now? Huge conversations to be had around Elon Musk that I don't particularly really want to get into here into this kind of video, but she's trying to call this stuff out. And again, having 1 to 2 billion or 40 billion is vastly different from a pop star having a couple tens of millions, okay, or maybe even a couple hundreds of millions. The levels of wealth is so gargantuan, and I can understand her wanting to point it out, but she has to realize that merely her pointing this out, even if she can be justified, like she genuinely truly believes this, she could be justified, people will always call her a hypocrite whenever she makes money too. And that's it. And she just kind of has to accept this. People will always hate on her if she's making money at all. Okay, to any extent, people are still going to rag on her. People will see her say this stuff. People see her talking, you know, in these kinds of like picking up her award or whatever. These happen in pretty close succession too. So it's, you know, it's ingrained in people's minds pretty recently because she's been pretty outspoken about it recently. People will see this kind of thing and be like, well, if you release a product, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. You're doing all these things. And again, obviously, she's not someone who is immune to the capitalist way of doing things. She has Billie Eilish fragrances. Fragrances? I can't even speak. She has a ton of fragrances. I can't even talk. She has Your Turn number 2, Your Turn, Eilish 1 and 2. She has gift sets. She has Eilish number 3 as well. Eilish. She has a bunch of perfumes that are very expensive. Okay, these, well, I say very, but they're pretty expensive, like perfumes as well. So she is someone who sells a lot of products. Okay, she sells a lot of products, and you know, here is all her vinyl variants. Okay, like we can have the conversation of Billie Eilish as someone who is also very environmentally conscious and talks about it a lot, yet she has a ton of different vinyl variants which apparently are not conductive or good to have a great environmental impact. And of course, this is very much consumerism, getting people to buy more vinyls so you're able to chop the charts quicker. You know, you're able to get the album rates. The more variants you get, they contribute to more sales and more charts. So that's why all these artists release so many different colored vinyl variants that are fun colors to get you to collect them all, so that you can boost them up. She definitely plays. She's a capitalist. There's no denying that Billie Eilish is a capitalist, and she definitely cares about money. There is absolutely no denying, no question to this. But I think it's also okay for her to look at crony capitalism and people who massively exploit others in order for their own gain that create their billions. I think she could do both, but she has to realize no matter if she does or not, she is still going to be in a lot of bad look at the public. There'll be a lot of negative public perceptions. People are going to call her a hypocrite regardless. Here is an example here. Publicly branding yourself as anti-capitalist and having a panic attack when your brother tells the fans they don't have to buy more than 5 copies of your album. Billie's hypocrisy doesn't know limits. Here we go. Let's listen to this.
Keep streaming the album. Keep buying the album. Love you all so much.
Poppy loves Billie. I bought the album 5 times. Please say my name. You can stop buying the album. We love you. We love you.
No. Don't say that.
I think we can. Wow.
Well,
I'll keep playing.
Buying the album 5 times is insane.
That's true.
Why are we these? You know, there's only one of you.
Keep streaming the album.
I'm in two minds about this. Because I think to be on a platform where you're promoting your album and then your brother, even if it's a reasonable reason to say stop buying the album, could be clipped out of context and taken anywhere, okay? And I think maybe she could be more worried about her brother. You should just never say, like, even as, like, I've worked in marketing for a while. You would just never say that. Just never say don't buy the album. Like, it's just a really bad message. It's subconsciously, you just never want to do that. Okay, you never want to do that. I don't think Billie's worried, oh my god, no, I need everyone to buy like 5 copies of the album. I think it's more of a worry of like, just don't say don't buy the album, because obviously they want people to buy the album. She wants to be wealthy, she wants to be rich, okay? And if she's trying to deny that she isn't, then that's a problem. But I don't think she's doing that. I don't think Billie Eilish is out here trying to say that, hey, I don't want to be rich. I think she's out here saying, hey, how about we, you know, confront a system that gets people to become billionaires by exploiting majorly like other people to their own detriment, okay? And I think she takes some actions to try and like do that herself, right? As she gains more wealth. For example, like her giving out the 11.5 million to organizations. But again, I feel like giving it to immediate people that helped you make your money is the better way of doing that. I really do. That's the better anti-capitalist like route to take. But what do you guys think? Do you think she's a hypocrite? I think to some extent we can say she's a hypocrite. but I don't think we should punish someone for partaking in the society that we live in. And I think it's totally okay. I think it's okay for us to be hypocrites. I think it's okay for me to be like, Elon Musk should probably, you know, utilize some of his money a bit better to help things on the planet that could be more beneficial, like immediately. And I also want to make lots of money too. I think both things can be true, okay? It's just about the way that we acquire the wealth and how we distribute it afterwards and how we compensate the people who help us generate the wealth. That is the most important thing, and that is my takeaway from all this. Let me know what you guys think. Is Billie Eilish a hypocrite? Let me know in the comments down below. I make videos. I like to try and make a bit more often, but I appreciate you being here. I'm live every single day on Twitch. You can check out in my comments down below. I appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Twitch.tv/Captain Cabinets, Captain Cabinet.